to level up your live life with Ecamm Live? It's time for the Get Live Weekend Sale. That's right, the Get Live Weekend Sale. Friday through Monday, new subscribers get massive savings on all annual plans.
What?
That's right, 40% off all annual plans, standard and pro, for new subscribers of Ecamm Live. Are you ready for the secret sauce? Here's the kicker. If you sign up for this deal, these massive savings right here, you get this super dope slash price for life.
What?
No, I'm not kidding. For life. The life of your subscription. As long as you don't make any changes to your plan, you get these cut prices right here for life. And that, my friends, is a mighty long time. Don't miss the Get Live Weekend Sale. Friday through Monday, Cyber Weekend 2021. Pop on over to ecamm.com and enter the promo code CYBER21 at checkout. That's CYBER21 at checkout. Say it again for the people in the back. Don't miss the Get Live Weekend Sale. Cyber Weekend 2021, Friday through Monday. Offer valid only to new customers of Ecamm Live. You know what it is. For life.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another live stream. My name's Lewis, also known as MrCameraJunkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. But sometimes gear is great, because that's why we have Black Friday deals and all the specials that you can find during the holiday season. Well, welcome once again, one and all, and today marks a pretty special event for us here on the live stream. It is week 52 of consecutive live streams here on the CameraJunkie live stream. So I thank you all for spending your time here with me. As always, our time is our most precious commodity, and there's no place that I'd rather be than right here with all of you amazing people. So thank you as always, and let's see who we have here in the house. We saw a couple of people. We have Paul here and Rich. Paul's also saying that his NAS has arrived. Awesome, congratulations. How many terabytes did you get? That's very interesting. James is in the house saying, what's up, yo? Look, I'm so excited I didn't even set up my iPad. Getting things going. Oh, let's cancel that. All right, let's set this up. Yeah, getting things going here. I have to set the iPad so that it doesn't go into sleep mode. I love that track. And as you can see, we got the holiday themes. I got the fireplace cooking in the background to warm things up. You know, changing a little bit of the ambiance to bring in the holiday season. I got Christmas tracks running around. So there we go. So now we're back on track here, setting up the sound effects. All right, Hassan is in the house. How are you doing, sir? All right, it says, question, congrats on the year. I want to do my first live stream on Monday for real time everyday carry gear and survival items. Is there a way to send a private link to my iPad or ensure my setup is good? Well, a private link is not necessary. If it just depends on how you're doing it. Like, for example, let me see if I can show you real quick. I'm gonna go here to my Chrome, and if I click select, as you can see right now on my secondary window, which is what you're seeing over here right now, is basically my live stream with the live chat kind of going off onto the side, just so that I can monitor things. And that's basically all that it's there for. So I monitor my own live stream as if I was watching it like with you guys, so that I make sure that within the countdown timer and everything, that everything is, you know, we could hear the audio, you know, all of those things is what I'm doing in those 5 minutes of the countdown. So everything seems to be going good. Let me go back here. All right. So yeah, so that's easy like that. If you're on your iPad, all you have to do is just open up the link to your YouTube channel, or open up YouTube, check your, like your actual streams, like if you were gonna go live, so to speak, and you would find your own stream, open it up, and you'll be monitoring live, just with the same delay that is inherent to the live streaming source, so to speak, just the time that it takes. But you'll see how long it actually takes to reach the audience once you're actually doing the live stream that way. You can see like the transitions and everything like that. It's always fun because you see that it's like either a 10-second delay, so on and so forth. Right now we're streaming in 4K, right? And in 4K the stream is regular latency, so it's like the longest delay between the chat and the speech and everything like that. The lower quality streams, I believe 1080 is the highest quality that you can get with ultra low latency, meaning that the responses are a lot faster. But I always want to be streaming in the highest quality possible, so that you can see, so that you can feel the warmth of the fireplace. Richard's in the house saying hello to myself. Paul's got a question, says he's saying your question should look like this, otherwise it's just a comment. That's right, that's Master Moderator the Paul Duncan. Thank you, sir, for being here as always. All right, let's see. He goes, there's a question in there, I just got long-winded. No, I think I answered it. If it was just the iPad aspect, like on how to send it that way, the iPad is probably the easiest way, and it was one of the ways when I was first doing my live streams. Such a long time ago. No, it's crazy because it was December 2nd. I was just looking back on my channel. December 2nd was my first live stream, and boy was it bad. Right? And then you go and you see that I did 30 consecutive, or even more than that. I think I ended up like at 33 or something like that, just to like finish off the week. And then it was the weekly live stream, and how, even though it looks similar, because it is the same location, how different, from my first live stream to now, and how many different iterations and different things that I've been able to implement within the year. So it's all, it's all been a work in progress, and it's something that will never really be complete, right? You're always going to be tweaking, you're always going to be changing. I have these lights that I made myself, so I will be looking to upgrade those in the future. I'm actually thinking of making me another one of these same soft boxes here to replace this light here, which might be more convenient, but I'm thinking about making a video on how I created the light in the first place. So that's probably the gist of why I'm gonna make another light. But everything in due time, because I've been working on a lot of things. And now that I have you guys here, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. It's highly appreciated. I always forget to say that for myself, and I'm being a moderator on so many channels that I always remind everyone else, but I always get lost in my own thoughts. So there we go. Jim is in the house saying good evening, Camera Junkie crew, and to me, Lewis, happy 52. Thank you, sir. 52, man. It's so amazing. It's just like 52 live streams. It's pretty remarkable. I'm proud of this achievement because it shows the commitment and the consistency to my goals. Right? I'm doing this not for me, but for the mission of the better life for my son, which is what I'm working for. And for those of you who want to know, Aiden will be it will be Aiden's birthday next week, so I'm gonna be working on a couple of things, because that's gonna be probably included in next week's live stream, because he's going to be 6 years old, and it's been a whirlwind of 6 years, so it's amazing. But like I said, everything that I do for him, so that's my main thing. The music too loud? I'm gonna bring it down just a bit. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna continue. Okay, Hassan's asking what NAS did Paul get? Synology DS920. Okay. Is that the... I'm not even gonna ask. We're gonna start getting into that, like if that's the 2-bay Synology or the 4-bay. So he is everywhere. Says can't escape Doc. Yeah, because he's on that promo. He's everywhere, right? Kevin Cox is in the house. How you doing, sir? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Thomas saying congrats on a full year, right? Like, look, it's... if you consider it a podcast, like I kind of do, right? Like it's like a podcast, live stream, weekly, like round up, catch up, hang out. It's so many things rolled up into one, but the consistency of 52, man, that's... I'm gonna tell everyone it's not easy. It was actually really tough. Like the strive to keep the streak alive is real, right? Because the fact that it is 52, that like we did it, it's not like I'm gonna say, okay, next week I'm taking a break or anything like that, because that's not the way I see it. But there were still so many challenges within this year. Some of you who followed along through the journey would know, and the fact that no matter what, this is something that has been pretty much, like I said it, I've said it so many times, not pretty much, but it's just the best part of my week. I could have a rough week on so many different levels, but just to know where I can just hang out and chill with such amazing people, it really does mean the world to me, and that's why I'm always so grateful. I sit here in awe, and I'm still, I humble myself with the fact that, I was always like amazed when a video of mine gets 100 views, and now my live streams get 100 views on the weekend, like just like by the time they're published, and that to me just leaves me like speechless. It leaves me speechless. I am so thankful. It means so much to me. It means so much more than you guys could ever know. And I try to express it, and that's why you guys hear me be so repetitive with it. But it's just, minuscule to the feelings that I have inside. So thank you. Greg is saying congrats. Yeah, man. 24. Okay, 24 terabytes. Nice. That is nice. Mario Crespi's in the house saying hello to me and friends. Says congrats on 1 year. I know, man. 1 year, man. It's just so much has changed, right? So much has happened. You start talking about, like, I did a virtual event. I went to an actual event. And the year is not over, and Doc was just talking about saying that he was like Thanksgiving was literally like the pop off, like the beginning of the LGL. And for those of you who are part of it and know the LGL, it's been rebranded for the month of December now. It's called Let's Give Love instead of Let's Get Live. So the LGL is being rebranded to Let's Give Love for this entire remaining holiday season. Instead of like a Vlogmas, we're just gonna be passing it forward, or like paying it forward. So it's a really cool concept, and I'm really excited to partake in this as well. So many lives were changed in Vlogmas last year. We're just gonna see exactly what happens this year, so it's gonna be very, very interesting. John is saying congrats on your anniversary. I know, man. It's crazy. It was December 5th. It was a Saturday that I met Doc Rock. And like I said, so much has changed. So much. Says my gas should I'm guessing he's saying Naz should be here next weekend. I had to do the B&H because it slipped on Amazon and it was gone. And Hassan is saying congrats on the year. That's a huge achievement, man. And like I said, this is like such a awesome hangout, you know, such an awesome like weekend get together. And I have had the privilege and like the fortunate to have such amazing people hang out here, which is just, hey Tom, if you're still there, you know, this is really Air Fryer Emporium at its finest. You know, there are so many things that I know that I could do. And I was speaking to Evie, for those of you who know Evie from the LGL. I digress. I was speaking with her about the type of audience that we have here, the type of community that we have here in the Camera Junkies, and it's very different. You know, it's all about like the giving aspect, because there's a lot of places where, like, not places, a lot of channels, and even my own, where I know that I can do certain things to kind of cater to a bigger subscriber number, you know, and start asking and like trying to just reach, you know, the vanity metrics. But that's not what I'm building here. You know, that's not the community that we're building here. And, you know, that's why I'm so proud of this achievement, and, you know, reaching 1,000 camera junkies in this community, and so many different things, being part of the LGL, having the ability to work with Doc Rock. I'm not gonna say anything, you know, because I'd rather like count my chickens before they're hatched. But I have a meeting on Monday, which I'm really excited about, for more video editing, to actually help another content creator on this platform with their video editing. So like, these are all things that are just starting to line up, and I'm just super excited for not only this coming month with certain things like that, but, you know, 2022 is going to be so awesome, because there's going to be a huge shift in everything that I do. Because you know, speaking honestly, right now, like, this has probably been the worst week that I've had financially all year, as far as my business goes, when it comes to Mr. Fix It. Maybe did one repair or two all week, which is incredible because of the simple fact that we have the Black Friday, which it happens every year. So it's just, people are holding off because they're either going to get a new deal on a new phone or anything like that. So there's no point in actually repairing their phone. And it usually tends to do that. And we'll probably get like another week of repairs, and then it's going to trickle off, and the same thing will happen for Christmas. It just happens every year. So, what was I saying about that? Because it wasn't even about the phone repairs. Well, it was just the simple fact that I'm still super appreciative of everything that's like coinciding, because the way that I see the future, and with, you know, the right to repair movement and what Apple's doing with their whole thing, it's I kind of see like the end is nigh, how they say, you know. So I had already made up my mind to start moving towards the creative space, and all of these steps, you know, these little meetings and things like that, are just the steps that I'm taking to move myself into that, you know, like full time, which is what I'm really excited to have accomplished for 2022. Because that is not only the goal, but like the destination. That is the destination. So I'm doing everything that I can to get there. And like I said, I'm just super appreciative of all of you, because it's all in one, all encompassing of the things that are to come, you know. So with that being said as well, I'm going to take this time right now to also announce to everyone here, right, like a free gift from me to you. So I'm gonna put this in the chat real quick. Let me just type that out. Okay, I believe that's right. Now, what is it that I just put in chat? This is for those of you who are familiar as well with the channel. You know that I'm very, very a huge fan of the Stream Deck, and ever since I've got it, it's changed my workflow and so many different things like that. Paul, the master moderator here, knows that I also use it to kind of like put some shortcuts of some comments and things like that when I'm moderating. One of the latest things that I wanted to do was put my emojis on my Stream Deck, so I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can get a nice little focus shot. I have the Stream Deck and I have high quality emojis for all of the most popular emojis, and instead of just doing the ones that were my favorite, I just went in there and I just started doing the entire lot of them. Now, I haven't gotten all the skin tones and everything like that. That's for the complete, but the first set of completed emojis are there and they're free to download. My gift to you, to everyone there, so enjoy. There's also a link in the description if you need it, so that is there. Just a little thing to show my appreciation to all of you. So happy holidays, and thank you once again. Thank you. So that's just a little thing. So if you guys are into the Stream Deck as well, and these icons could pretty much be used for anything. They can be used for the loop deck, anything like that. Just icon files. So go there, and I will be completing the entire set of them, but that's it was a little bit daunting when I realized how many emojis there are. So that's that. Let me go back to the chat. Okay, Art is saying, what's up everyone, congrats on 365 and 52 consecutive weeks. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for being here. Gary Jones, thank you for being here as well, saying hello. Says Kevin, I hit B&H for a lens. Ooh, which lens did you get? Because now you're talking my language there. Says I did that too. A video how to make a light modifier would be amazing. Yeah, and I'm gonna pull it out right here just to show you, because I literally got it on magnet. So the idea that I have is to recreate this, which is my light box with grid modifier. I have the front available there, and you could probably hear it snapping. That's because I have an entire metal cage desk, so I have it set up with magnets so that it's positioned in the right place. But when I'm not doing the live stream, I can just take it down, and because it's all metal, I literally just stick it to another area, and it just shoots light up towards the ceiling, and it's out of my way, so that while I'm working here, I accidentally don't bump it with my head, because that's usually what happens. K-Wall Comedy, how you doing, Kathy? Saying happy Saturday night to you and Prince Aiden. Thank you. Aiden is sleeping. He fell asleep like an hour or so before the live stream, so let's hope that he makes it through. But that means he's definitely gonna wake up like afterwards, because he didn't nap on me during the day, so he was up since like 7, well, I would say like 8 o'clock this morning, straight to 9 o'clock with no nap. That's like 13 hours. This guy's gonna be out for a minute. Paul says, I made a terrible mistake. I got a B&H credit card. Better in homes, as Miss Diana says. This says, that sounds too dangerous, says Kevin. Says, job well done. Thank you, sir. How are you doing? Welcome, as always. Says the Paul Duncan, I got one. And just stare at the credit card in the drawer. I want an FX3 for my dedicated studio cam, but the A6600 do just fine. You know what? Another video that's coming out, right? Because I just love doing these things, right? So One of the newest cameras, the ZV-E10, which is a great camera. I love Sony equipment, not taking nothing from it, but one of the main features that it has is called product showcase. You know, it's something that came from the ZV-1, that it means that whenever you put a product in front of the lens, like right now you see my hands, like if I put it anywhere near, because it's locked onto my face, it won't focus on what it is. So for example, that's when you would normally see like a makeup person or product reviewer, and then they will put something in front of the screen, and because they don't get it focused, then they will have to like bring in their second hand to block their face so that then can actually focus on it. And then if I were to pop my face over, it will automatically like lock onto the face no matter what. Now I've done this so many times as well, so I was looking at alternatives on how to do the product showcase. So I'm coming out with a video soon on how to get product showcase on the A6100 and probably any Sony camera. So I'm gonna demonstrate it right now by going to my secondary camera here. As you can see, this has always been my secondary cam. So instead of changing the settings on this camera, I quickly changed it on that one, and as you can see, it was already taken into effect. So now I'm able to put something in there and it's going to be in focus even if my face is in shot. So I could continue to just wave to everyone and say the product showcase, and until I bring the product back to me would it be when it actually focuses back onto me. And the reason why this is possible is because even on different Sony cameras, even older models, the autofocus is so good that once you know exactly how to utilize it, you'll be able to get exactly what you want for whichever shot that you want. I think that deserved that. So a video coming soon on how to get that done. So yeah, you see, like the A6600 or any of these Sony cameras, they really do a remarkable job. Real Northwest Arkansas, congratulations. Thank you, sir. I believe this is one of the first times you're here. If it isn't, my apologies, but it's like the first time that I remember seeing the name. So welcome to the live stream. Thank you for stopping by, and I appreciate the congratulations. Tom Buck's got some eyes there. Says live streams is like writing in your diary, viewing what happens over a year and see how far you've come. Congratulations, Lewis. Thank you, sir, and thank you for stopping by. You've been here through so many of these live streams, through all of the Windows machines, reboots, and so many things like that. But there are stories that will, that mark the journey, and it's exactly, the experience that we've gone through here. So I'm always highly, highly appreciative of everyone. So. Says thanks for the heads up on the Ecamm deal. I snagged it. The Final Cut Pro 90-day trial. No excuses now. Hey, no excuses. But guess what? You also have an amazing community here in the Camera Junkies, and also the Ecamm community, which if I haven't put in in the link, maybe Paul could drop it in the chat, because the Ecamm community here, I think the Ecamm community is probably like the hidden feature of Ecamm. For a fact it is. And the way that people communicate and help each other out in the Facebook community, the Ecamm, by far the best thing, is probably like one of them. But the only reason that and the LGL community is pretty much the only reason why I go on Facebook. And that's facts. Says after I did that, let me see. After I did, I thought, what the hell have I done? Is gonna get locked up with the 10-factor authorization. Okay, so you're really putting restrictions on your B&H credit card. You got me to laugh. I couldn't even read. 10 form authorization factor. Oh man. Kevin says, I had a Best Buy card and had to do that, do it with that. Man, I could tell you, when it makes those things like way too easy, yeah, I know. It's just the next thing you know, you're just charging everything, and they're like, "Oh, it was Best Buy, and you're gonna get points." And then the next thing you know, you look at your bill, and you're just like, "Ouch." Says, I bought Ecamm Pro before the Black Friday deal, but enjoying it and learning from the best. Oh well, I appreciate it, sir. And yeah, but you know what? There's also other deals, other things. If there's one thing that I could tell you, also look into the affiliate program if that's something that's available to you, because just sharing, an awesome program with a friend that could use it could end up like entail pretty much paying for itself. So here's to that. because it's an amazing program. Ever since I started using it, I know my live streams have improved just because of the fact that I haven't had to worry so much about the technology, and it's just allowed me to fall into the chat a lot better with the communication and just keep the conversation going. Okay, so I just reached my message here. Paul says, I needed these. You see, I'm so glad to have been able to get those to you, because I know, like, if you use the Stream Deck, as soon as you put any emoji on the text, like, you're gonna get this little robot face, and then the actual emoji is very small, so aesthetically it does not really like look good, especially with how nice the Stream Deck is. So I'm glad that you are gonna enjoy those. And Gary saying thanks. No, my pleasure, guys. You guys are so awesome. I'm just glad that this is a small thing that I'm able to give back to you guys. So that is high. Thanks. I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying it. I was just thinking, like, would you guys enjoy it? But it's from the heart. So I'm glad, like, you guys just made my night. The fact that you guys are liking the emojis, like. It says, thanks for the gift of emojis. Can you drop an Amazon link so I can grab the Stream Deck and get a little kickback? I would appreciate it, but in the description, I have my entire kit. You know what? Let me do it for you. I'll drop that link as well, because it's in the description and I'm in my page right here. Boom. That's how easy that is. Paste and go. Boom. There you go, sir. I just dropped the link. I'm getting better at this, right? Like, after a year, right? Now is when I start dropping links and telling people, like, hit the thumbs up if you haven't. It's highly appreciated, because I've always just forgotten to do it. It's like I said, it's just like hanging out, at a bar with some good music with some friends. Now, I'll tell you the truth. Nobody's mentioned it. You see the fireplace, you see the fire effect that's on the wall. That's actually that Ulanzi light that I picked up like a week ago or something. So it has the fireplace effect. I was able to put the fireplace to go play on the YouTube on a loop. And then I threw the fireplace light behind it. So let me show you. I thought that was a really cool hack to it. Yo, so cool. Fireplace, 20% light with the magnetic mount. And it makes quite a difference. Without it, boom, brings the whole vibe in with the digital fireplace. I'm loving it. Like, I could use that all the time. That just makes this environment here just so much more cozy. That's why I put a 6-hour loop on that on the video. Paul got the Sigma 16 f1.4. Yes, you're looking at it right now. It's one of my favorite lenses. 24 millimeters is my favorite focal length. That's why I love this lens, because that's the equivalent that I get off of this camera here. It saved me the need of the gas, of having to spend like $1,200 on the 24 f1.4 G Master, so because I have I have my full frame camera, and that would be like an awesome lens. Like that's still like one of the want to gets in the future. But I think the next thing that I'm looking into is the Rodecaster Pro, because in my last video that I made for the channel about Ecamm overlays, I did a couple of recordings on it, and it's just, I have audio hijack and everything, and I have like these suppressors and everything like that, but this machine has an inherent hiss that comes out on so many like of the videos that it just like it's borderline like unfixable when it comes to the audio. So I have to do so much ahead of time that's just putting a little damp in the process. So that's going to be the next thing, because it will only fix my current recorded content, but also the live streams. So that's the next goal. But congratulations on the Sigma. That's an amazing lens. It's daily driver for me all the time. And this is another thing. I have the full frame lenses, right? I mean, full frame camera, full frame lenses, obviously. But the full frame camera, my Sony a7R II, I used my Sigma lenses on it all the time, for the reason that it has 4K recording, and when it goes into 4K, it goes into APS-C mode or Super 35, meaning it will not take full capacity or like full use of the full frame sensor, and you're already on the crop size. APS-C lenses would be ideal. So that's what I do. I take this lens and I put it on that camera. So now that the 4K and the lens match on the camera, the added bonus is that the one thing that this lens does not have is image stabilization. But all Sony full frame cameras have internal in-body image stabilization, IBIS, also known as the steady shot. And the steady shot now gives a non-stabilized lens like this stabilization even in video. So that's one of those like hacks that people don't really like. I always take advantage of using the APS-C lenses on full frame cameras, especially when they have that crop factor applied, because it's just like having an A60, like not an A6600, but pretty much the equivalent of having an A6500, which was the top of the line APS-C before the 6600 came out with the bigger battery and the flip up screen. Junaid is in the house. What's up, man? I think that's the first time that you stopped by. I appreciate you. How are you doing? R says, I believe the product showcase can be mimicked by setting AF to center, face ID detect turned off. Actually, the only thing that you have to do is turn off the face detect, So, oh, Gretchen, thank you, Gretchen. I appreciate it. Gretchen just bought me some coffee. Highly appreciate it. The caffeine does support this channel highly. This live stream runs off caffeine. So yeah, like all I did honestly was just turn off the face detection, and that's it. I even have it on wide. If you put it on center, it will stay on you, but then if anything were to cross that line, but then if you were to lose it, right, if you were to move the product from the dead center to the right, then it will snap back onto you being in the center. So I just left it at wide, and boom, works perfectly. But shh, that's coming in the video later. Don't tell nobody. Hey, Brian's in the house, man. Says, I like the color scheme in the background. Thank you. It's the same color scheme. The only thing that I just kind of switched it up a little bit because I usually have the magenta, and the blue behind the television. Now I just kind of did magenta, blue, and the television just has that fireplace effect. But I do like the mixture, like, of the blue with the magenta side to side. I'm gonna agree. Like, it was the first time I did it, I was like, it looks good. Now I'm gonna try to add some Christmas lights. That's gonna. Says, congratulations on wrapping up a year, brother. That fireplace in the background, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, I was already talking about it before you got to it, so I stand corrected. I was saying nobody mentioned it, and then here comes Junaid saying, I'm loving the fireplace. So, no. Okay, and there's Paul. Thank you, sir, for dropping that in the chat. Hashtag ECAMFam. Says, is the real deal. I'm the same with Facebook, only because of those two groups, right? But hey, Facebook needs to step up their game. And you know what? I'm just gonna throw these 2 little cents in here, right? Facebook was saying, "Oh, we're changing our name to Meta, right? But it's only like the business name. It's still gonna be called Facebook, yeah." Immediately after that change, all I have seen is advertisements, and at the bottom of them they all say Meta. So just I'll leave that there. Says, I'm looking at the adapters for the Canon lens, the Sigma 16 to use on the Sony ZV-E10, but I see some big price disparities. I'm missing something. I'm not sure what you're saying. You're saying looking for an adapter for my Canon lenses to use on my Sony ZV-E10, but I see some big prices. What are the prices that you're seeing? Because I've seen some that are like there's gonna be a difference between an adapter and the speed booster. Now, speed booster, like Metabones, is the one that I have. I don't think I have it available right here, do I? Oh yeah, I do. Here. This is my Metabones, the E-mount. Let's see. Let's switch it to the correct camera. Metabones EF E-mount T. It is a Canon mount up front and E-mount in the rear. So this I could just show you as well. This is my Sony NEX6 camera, and with this mounted on it, nothing else, this is an effective E-mount camera. I were to open it up, you would see the sensor right away. The mount is the EF. I said E-mount camera, right? Yeah, but it's the EF mount from Canon. And now I can take any lens there and throw it on there. For instance, I have it available. Dusty. Ooh. My 50mm. So no matter what lens size, if it's the EF mount, you're able to throw it on there. Now, what I am going to show you is that this has a clear pass-through to the sensor. There's adapters that are just like this that have a piece of glass in it, and those are called speed boosters. Those tend to be a lot more expensive than just the regular mount. Now, There's also a difference between a dummy mount and an electronic mount. Now this one, because it has contacts, allows for full autofocus when using these lenses on the cameras. There are dummy adapters that just have no electrical connections, and then you're able to use like vintage Canon lenses on these mirrorless cameras because there's no contacts that need to be done, and everything will be focused and done manually, aperture and focus. So that's where the difference could be. Now this one, because it has autofocus, tends to run like $300, I believe. The speed boosters tend to be more than that, like $600. So let me know some more information. I don't know if that information helped out, but that's where the prices could be. So I could spend $175, or do I need one of those $300 or $400 deals? Well, it just depends. I'm not sure exactly which Canon lens that you're talking about, the Sigma 16. If it's autofocus and that you need autofocus, then it is going to be more expensive because of the translation, so to speak, like the communication between the lenses. But if you're going to be spending $300 to $400 on an adapter, I would never recommend it for one lens. So let me just throw that out there. I have mine, and I literally have it for only one lens because it's the only one that I have left. When I got this adapter, I was shooting Canon, so my entire bag was filled with Canon lenses, and I had camera bodies. So when I first got my first A6000 is when I got my hands on this adapter, so that I didn't have to invest an entire plethora of like money in an entire new system when I wasn't sure if that was something that I was going to use. But once I started using high quality glass, the ones that I had for my Canon cameras, and I started putting it in front of these sensors, I quickly saw the quality of image that the Sony cameras was giving me once I was able to put good glass in front of those sensors. It totally changed the game, and that's when I was like, let me see what Sony has natively, and they're more expensive, higher quality glass. And that's when I found this lens, which is the Sony 55mm f1.8 Zeiss. Absolutely love this lens. And why? Because every photo that I take with this bad boy here is just amazing. It is just amazing. One of the sharpest lenses that you can find, even wide open at 1.8. It's very, very fast autofocusing. It was so fast when it came out that it still holds up to today's standards with the newer cameras. And that just goes to show you, like a mark to the craftsmanship that was that came out with this lens, because this one came out a while ago, but it was this lens that I was like, you know what, Sony's got my vote right here. And that lens on probably an APS-C body and a full frame, if I only had one lens to use, it would be that one, because I could use it for both. And just to explain, I can get a 50mm focal length when I use it on my full frame, which is an awesome focal length. But if you want something better for portraits, which is what I do majorly, you'd want something like an 85mm, right? You can get away with a 50, but you would want something with more compression, which is what I get when I put that on my APS-C cameras, because the 55mm with the 1.5 crop factor ends up being an equivalent of like 52 or 82mm, which is that sweet spot when it comes to portraits. So one lens for me would be that one. Gretchen, how are you doing? Saying hi, Mr. Camera Junkie. Happy 57th. Thank you very much. Okay, there's the stream deck. It says, I got it, thanks. It says, soon you'll be saying, I got a button for that. I only have the 15 key Stream Deck, but I won't doubt it. I'll take that. It says, I just noticed that fireplace. Nice touch with the effect light. Thank you. Tom Buck saying fire. Absolutely. It sets the mood. I liked it, and I was like, this is just part of being the creative, right? Of just actually taking what you have and making the most out of it. And as soon as I was like, you know what, let me throw this on here. Oh, let me throw the fireplace instead of like my wallpaper background, especially for the holiday season. And I'm like, and then that was just like the cherry on top, and I was like, I just got this light too, super cool, and it just sets the mood. It says that fireplace hack is fire. Because isn't it great that you live in South Florida and you don't need that heat with that awesome fireplace video? I know, that's why, like, right now I'm like, I think it's like 75 degrees outside or a little bit under, and it's just so nice that before the live stream I just had the door open, just letting the cool breeze come in, and I'm like, that's like the best type of weather here in South Florida, when it's just nice and cool and it's almost like air conditioning outside. Right now is like, I'd rather hang out outside because of the weather than be indoors. Yeah. And for that, most people would say like, oh, spring cleaning, right? Spring cleaning is when you would do the cleaning. Like, not in South Florida, because by the time that spring comes around, it's pretty much summer already. So it is like hot as so right now, when it was like cool like this, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take advantage. So I cleared out my closet, and I've been doing like winter pre-cleaning, so even before Christmas I'm cleaning out the old and making room for new stuff, new things, new beginnings. So I'm taking advantage now because of the good weather. Says Rodecaster Pro is awesome. Yes, Tom Buck has a bunch of videos on it. He's awesome. I used it today to record an interview with my parents. That's super cool. Getting some history from their childhood is great too. That is super cool. That is like, you're gonna cherish that bit of information, that interview with your parents. That's gonna be something that you cherish for many, many years. Super cool. That's such a great idea. I wish I would have done that when my mother was still around. I try to spend the Sundays with my father as much as possible. I do it every week. Every week I take the time out to spend it with him. Tomorrow afternoon I'm gonna be taking Aiden and myself and heading over to my father's house just to spend the afternoon with him. Time is our most precious commodity, and I'm trying to make the most of it every day. Well, somebody's moving around now. It says, thank you for the Stream Deck link. I just went and ordered me one. Well, thank you, sir. This is something that I had like neglected for a while. Tom, we kind of made videos at the same time talking about it, because I got my hands on one and I was like totally blown away with everything that I can do with it. Not only like for the live streaming, but for my video editing with Final Cut Pro. Just like I did the emoji pack, because now like whenever I'm in a chat, like right now, I can just come here, click this, go like this, and start just saying fire, fire, fire 100% with the hands clap, and then hit enter, and boom, right? And that's it. Says MrCameraJunkie, just got off the live stream and hopped over here. Hi. Well, thank you. I knew you were going live, but I was setting up everything myself. Like as soon as we got off the class, it's like, like none of this was actually set during that time. So, always working things out, just even to the last minute. I considered the Rodecaster Pro, but Tom Buck mentioned the Hiss. I went to the Mix Pre 3 Mark III and the Montu M4. I don't think the Rodecaster has a hiss. Or I can, well, even if it does, I know it's nothing like this little bad boy right here. This little. Let me just be nice, because you're still working, you're doing your job, but boy, you made me run around looking for a hiss. It says the hiss is only on the headphones, thankfully not the actual output. You see, like, I don't care if the headphones gives me a hiss, the output is that. So in this case, mine is reversed. Like, I don't hear it in the headphone, right? I'm listening to like the music, listening to everything that's going out, but then whenever I record anything, whether it's on Ecamm or directly into the camera, anything, it's like this huge hiss. So you're gonna hear me cut off for a second, but I'm just gonna show you because I'm gonna unplug. Right here into the mixer, I have a RCA cable, you know, standard coaxial cable. So okay, so what I've been doing is just the same way that I pulled there. What I've had to do is totally bypass my entire audio setup and take that with another adapter that takes that into just a standard 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and just plug it directly into the camera, which is such a pain because it almost doesn't reach, and then it totally bypasses the fact of me recording through Ecamm, because that's one of the advantages of Ecamm, right? Ecamm, you can do everything right here. So for a long time I was looking to get one of those Atomos Ninja recorders, because there's certain things that you can't record with the cameras, like the back of the camera, like all of the settings and everything like that. Shout out to Raphael Ludwig. He made a great video about using the Atomos Ninja to record the back of your camera with like no lens on it, so that it will record on a black screen, and then you can just screen it out on the editing side to get kind of like a visual overlay, you know, like just glowing of the settings itself and not have like an actual black screen. And what he used to do it was the Atomos Ninja, but I didn't have one, still don't have one. But to bypass that, what I'm able to do is basically do what I'm doing right now. I would change the settings in the camera to show all of the HDMI information, or to show all the camera information through the HDMI. And because that's what's connected to the cam link, effectively what I would do was set that up and then just cover the cover the lens. Then everything that's being recorded through Ecamm goes directly into the computer. I would then throw it right onto my timeline, screen it out, and have this nice visual overlay, effectively saving me the need of having to purchase an Atomos Ninja, because it's all built into Ecamm. It's just, once you know the tools and how to use them correctly, man, you can get so much done. Says the X typos. Don't worry, Tom. I read typos here. What's up, Caleb? Saying hi to everyone. The Nifty 50. Oh yeah. This is the one lens. This f1.4. Oh, this is the one Canon lens that I could not get rid of. And I was just like, this is just, because the way that I see it is like the value of selling this lens is way too little for the value of the lens itself. Like this setup, like this is also one of these lenses, like you can, you know, everyone would say like the f1.2 is like so much better, obviously so much more expensive. For those of you who don't know, this lens even right now probably runs you like $350 to $400. The f1.2 version of the 50mm in the Canon EF mount is still running like around $1,200, $12 to $13, and the extra bokeh or speed that you get from the difference, I don't think equates to the price, especially when it is so hard to actually nail focus at f1.2 that 9 times out of 10 you're stopping it down to f1.4. And that's the difference, because I do understand, like, okay, any lens, you're always going to get a sharper image when you stop it down. But that's why I say, like, this lens here and also the 55mm f1.8 are the two lenses in my experience that I've used myself that are as sharp wide open as they are stopped down one or two stops in each case. So that's why I still have these lenses. To me, those two bad boys they're just next level. It says that info was helpful understanding speed boosters and autofocus. Well, thank you. This is when dealing with adapters. Yeah, like for example, I also am big on vintage lenses, right, Kathy? So right here within my mix, I'm gonna pull out this other lens, which is also I'm a fan of the 50mm, right? So this is my 50mm Nikon Nikkor S Nippon Gokaku. I think I said that correct. Doc will correct me. This is the f1.4. This is full manual. This is a 69-year-old lens, I believe, last time I checked. And I'm gonna open it up there so that we can see right through it. And we're gonna mess with the aperture ring here. There we are. Beautiful lens. Now, the back of it has no electronic connections whatsoever, because this lens never came with electronic autofocus. Ooh, it focused on my face through the lens. Nice! Look at how sharp this lens is. Oh, beautiful. Anyway, the mount that I used to get on it, you can see, has no electronic connections. This is what we call a dummy mount, because everything that you would use to control on this lens will be controlled manually. There we go. And this adapter, I paid what? I think like $12 for it, because the only thing that it's doing effectively is correcting the flange distance, which is the distance between the mount of this old lens to what would be the sensor or film in this case. So that being corrected effectively allows me to connect any old vintage Nikon lens to my Sony cameras, and boom. Funny that we're talking about both of these lenses, because I have a video on my channel where I do a comparison of these two lenses, which is the Nikon and the Sony 55. And it's pretty surprising the results that you can get with that vintage lens that rival, are like really hard to distinguish the difference, and it has nothing to do with the sharpness. It just has to do with the color rendition. If you're familiar with the Zeiss, then you would know the colors that it renders directly, like straight out of camera, comparative to the Nikon. But when it comes to the sharpness, like I said, also beautiful lens. And if you haven't heard me say it, that's one of my sayings, glass before ass, because optics are always more important than the camera bodies. I have plenty of different cameras from different megapixels and all that, and they can all render amazing images if you have the quality glass in front of it. That's why I'm so adamant about these lenses, the 16mm, this one over here. This one's the 30mm from Sigma. And because they match, you know, you're able to get the nice color rendition matching between the cameras back and forth. Just keeping it all tidy. It says Zeiss glass is epic. Yep. I love it. I'm loving this name. Tony Cheddar Cheese Macaroni. Oh. Listen to this guy. Oh, well, I'm sorry that you're disappointed. Alright, so let me check something out here. Because apparently this is already taken care of. But if not, Mr. Cheddar, you're welcome to hang out, but you're running on thin ice, bro. I have a vintage 1930s Zeiss Icon Novar. I'm not gonna say that word. A bellows camera. It still works, and the glass is sweet. I'm totally lost with this Novar and Stigmac. Oh, forget it. English, Lewis. I was setting up during class. Okay, that's cool. All right, this guy. Loved the name, hated the attitude. Mr. Cheddar. The RCP has a hiss from the headphone preamps, but not the actual recordings in the broadcast. Oh, I know that. I've heard the Broadcaster Pro too many times to know that if it has a hiss or not. This one I could even show you guys because I can turn off. Oh, here, look, I'm gonna turn off the denoise. It's horrible. It's just consistent. Just all right. We put on some music and then we switch that back on, and there we go. Let's hide this. Rob is in the house. How are you doing, sir? What's up? Kevin is saying hello to Rob, and likewise. Everybody's saying hi. Mr. Duncan says hello, Lewis and fellow junkies. Congratulations on Ep.52. You've accomplished so much in the past year. Way to go. Thank you so very much. That means a lot, especially from you. I do want to tell you again, Aiden is absolutely in love with the keyboard. He just his favorite. So I just want to thank you again. Do you think the f1.8 35mm or 50mm lens would be good for video using the Canon EOS R? I used the Sigma 24mm f1.4 inspired by the Tom Buck review. I want a second lens with a narrower field. Okay, the 35 and you're using the Canon EOS R. 35 is a little bit tighter, not that much, but both of those lenses are really good, and if I'm correct, I believe both of them are actually good for video as well, that they're silent. You know, if we were going to talk about Sony, then I would have told you the 35 yes, the 50 no, because the 50mm, the standard, like their nifty 50 or the fantastic plastic, it's their $200 50mm f1.8, gives great images, very sharp for photography, but for video it's a noisy lens because it's not a video lens. So there's no, like, you know, they got stepping motors, you hear them all throughout every video shot, and it's just gonna be horrendous. Now if you want to use it for B-roll, right, where the audio is gonna be music and you just need the visuals, then yeah, you can still use it for video. You know, anything besides that you're going to be like recording audio in that same camera, Absolutely not with the 50 millimeter from Sony. Now, the 50 and the 35 from Canon should be good when it comes to video, but if you want something tighter, I would actually say like both of those lenses are pretty much a go-to. Like you can go with them. It would really depend on, you know, like your use case. For example, my second shot here, right? This is a 30 millimeter lens. It's acting more like a 45, so because of this action, right, is why I know how close I can have it or how far away. So if it were to be a 50 millimeter or kind of like that equivalent, right, it would be almost a little bit tighter than what you're seeing right now on the EOS R, and being a 50 millimeter, it would kind of be like this, so it won't be the closest type of shot. Now the 35 would just be a little bit wider than this, but it really has to do with your space. You know, you wouldn't want it to be a 50 millimeter where it's so close that then it actually like looks like they're like zooming in on your pores or something like that. So it just depends on your use case. So definitely, depending on the space and where you're going to put the camera is going to determine the focal length, but both of those lenses are really good. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Mine passed away just last year. My brother passed away just last month. So I am sorry to hear that, but hopefully the conversation that we're having here, not being particular about that subject, could take your mind off of it and, you know, hopefully help you with your, you know, with your cheeriness. Angela saying hello, Mr. Camera Junkie, happy 52nd. Thank you very much. 52 weeks consecutive, man. It is quite an accomplishment for myself. Yeah, I never even would have thought. That's why I sit here and I'm like, man, like, just this is one of the rare times where I could actually say I'm speechless. I sit here and I'm like, I wanted to have a lot more things planned out for this weekend as well, but life does get in the way. This was, you know, besides the holiday and everything else, it was like personally a rough week. But I don't sit here and complain because there's no reason to do it. There's no reason to dwell on the negativity. I just focus on the positive things, and that's it. What else? I can't stay like bummed, right? Because of the simple fact that I have such an amazing community of people. So many of you come here every week to hang out, spend time with me, to talk cameras, gear, so on and so forth, emoji icons, you know, you name it, and nothing's off the table. But what I've realized is that there's such an amazing group of people here that I stay dumbfounded with what's being established here within this community, and super ecstatic about what the possibilities could be for the future. So cheers to all the camera junkies, you know. Okay, question. In 52 weeks, what is your favorite kit or gear acquisition? It sounds a bit cheesy. It's gonna be, it's when it comes to a piece of gear for my 52 weeks live streaming, is going to be my Stream Deck. Yeah, like microphones, I've upgraded. This sounds great. My cameras, I absolutely love. Right, you can't do it without them. I was fortunate enough to get a second A6100 to have the matching pair. But this thing is just, it's made everything so easy, you know, like even I can joke around and be like, another one, right? Buddy who's calling me DJ Khaled, hey, I'm ready for it, right? Like all of these things are enabled through the Stream Deck, to be able to say like, hey, you know what, I need to check on my son, and I could just press a button and be like, oh. See, press a button and then I'm like, be right back. So all of the things that I'm able to do, even as a simple camera switching back and forth, everything, even something as simple as this, like now I'm in live demo mode, right, where you can see everything on my desktop so that I can illustrate how I utilize the program that I'm using and what it looks like behind the scenes. So let's close it out. I think I turned it off. Let's see. It doesn't tell me. That's so funny, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, it's off. There's a little thing right here that lets me know that there's 15 people here watching at the moment, and it just keeps everything in check. And that's only, right? And that's only for the live stream. I can press a button to finish the live stream. I can do so many things with the Stream Deck where I just stayed dumbfounded, and that's why I made a video talking about it, spoke highly about it just like a week in. And like I said, not only for the live stream, I use it for everything. Conversations in chat, emojis, video editing, you name it, this thing has changed the game for me. Absolutely. I've gotten a couple of other things which I'm also like really excited about. More recently, I got the Hagibis internal hard drive enclosure with like the extra I/O ports connected directly to my Mac Mini, which now has given me like so much more flexibility when it comes to the editing and all the things that I'm doing here. Yeah. The M1 was also great, but as far as accessory and like game changer, because I'm able to use this, right? Especially this one that is USB-C. So the USB-C connector is right here, meaning I have the cable all like dialed up in here with this setup. But if I want to use this with my laptop, because I have a completely different set of keys for photography editing, and that's where I do my photo editing on my laptop, then I don't have to disconnect all of this. All I have to do is just grab a completely different USB-C cable, plug it into the laptop, plug it into this, and just keep on going. The other thing is that I really do like the 15 key size because it's more portable. Like I took the trip to New York and I was doing live streams from hotel bathrooms, and when I was doing that, I was still able to use this for my live stream because it was so portable. I was able to take it with me comparative to like the bigger 32 key, which, like I said, if it's there for your setup, it's beautiful, and to have so many keys. But for me, my workflow, my desk is not the biggest. This has been ideal for me, so that's why I highly recommend using the Stream Deck. It's not just for streaming though. That's what I say. Definitely not just for streaming. Alright, so also the M1 Mac Mini too. Yeah, I think I just mentioned it. The M1 Mac Mini. Yeah, that thing is... But that also wasn't only the live stream, right? So that's really tough to call. What was the one thing for like the 52 weeks? That was a great question, bro. Because I would have to say it's between those two. But that's why I still say the Stream Deck, because I could use it with other things, even my Windows PC. So it's more versatile. But the M1 Mini has changed everything when it comes to computing for me. Just everything. Like all my editing, it's so stupid fast, man. Like whenever I'm editing something, I'm gonna process the audio separately, so I pull the audio right from Final Cut Pro. So whenever I tell it to just export the audio so that I can start editing it, I think a 5-minute audio track literally takes about 10 seconds for it to export. Excuse me? Excuse me. Says, I just want to say thank you for being here every single week as a place to spend my time with some fellow photo, audio, video junkies. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's what I said. Camera Junkie. My channel is a place where, camera junkies of all kinds have a safe place to feel free to be themselves. The Camera Junkie crew. I second Kevin's post. Thank you guys, man. Gotta get going, but thank you everyone for being here. Thank you as well, sir. It says make sure you hit that like before you leave. Rob, which synology did you decide to go with? So Rob got a synology as well, right? Paul got a 24 terabyte. He's saying bye to Kevin. Melanie's in the house saying hi, Lewis. Nice fire aesthetic in the background. Well, thank you. We were talking about it earlier. I kind of shot the gun, right? I was like, hey, I'm listening to chat and nobody mentioned my faux fireplace over here. And then I started talking about the RGB light. What is it? It's called the Mini Focus, which is kind of like similar to the Ulanzi, the little magnetic light that I was talking about, I believe, last week. Put the little fireplace setting and threw it behind the television so that it can cast the fire aesthetic onto the wall. It just it makes it look so much better. It's crazy. It almost makes it look like it's a little like fake fireplace. Hey, you got that's the movie magic, right? You gotta work with what you got. It says I love my M1 Mac Mini. Said, but it does bog down on multicam footage. I keep it for live streams, but for upgrading Mac Pro M1 Max. Oh, that's cool. I would advise, if depending on what program you're using to edit your multicam, if you are doing multicam, I would advise on using proxies, and you wouldn't have any problems whatsoever. The file does get a little bit bigger because you are using proxies, but it would create a much better workflow when it comes to your editing. And time is everything. If you go back in time 52 weeks, what advice would you give yourself? That's a good one. Let me see. Before I just rant off something generic, let me think about this. If I would to tell myself something, probably be I'm still trying. I would have to say, don't take yourself so seriously, right? That perfectionist in all of us, right? Like we all try to. Well, I know I do, right? I try to do my best. I try that's why it's part of the fun that I have, right? To try to make the most or the best of what I have, like that fireplace thing, right? Like. I could have just not done anything, right? But it's part of like just that wanting to just make it that little bit better, right? That little bit like, hey, I think this is fun. Hey, I think this is cool, right? And that is what makes all of this fun. So sometimes we beat ourselves up, right, when it's not quote unquote perfect. But if I were to tell myself anything, is to just always remember that nothing is perfect, and it's just the best that you can, and it's always getting better and it's always changing. So don't take yourself so seriously, have fun with it. That's what I was saying. Like there's a lot of people who do come into YouTube and looking into this as a total hobby, right? And then there's people who come into it looking at it as total business, as just complete like, how am I gonna do this? And that's why I said, like, I'm not one of those channels as well, because I know that if I wanted to, I could have just, saved some money, bought a lens, and then say, like, I'm doing a lens giveaway at 10,000 subscribers, and then I would have 10,000 subscribers on my channel, but it would be 10,000 of, in my idea, in my eye, of the wrong people who are there just for the subscription. And what is happening here is a community of people who know each other, and learn and help each other, and have that pay it forward mentality, that let's give love, hashtag the LGL. So that's where I see it, that's the way that I feel about it, and that's why I'm happy with the growth, the way that it's happened, because it's been, genuine. People want to say, like, organic. No, organic is like, the type of foods that they try to sell you at the grocery store. It's original, it's truth. So that's the way that I see it. It's the natural evolution of things, and that's why I'm, like, so ecstatic, because in my mind's eye, right, I thought that because taking it the slow route, like the turtle's pace, right, or the tortoise pace, that this would have taken a lot longer, and people, for example, like, there's a lot of channels that I know that speak out, and they're like, oh, I started, like, my YouTube journey here at this year, and I've been doing it for 3 years, and now is when it's starting to, like, pop off. But even those prior to those 3 years, they had spent like a couple of years, or maybe even longer, just watching YouTube, and being a fan, and being like, oh, maybe one day I'll get in there. And you hear a lot of these stories of people saying, like, oh, I waited too long, like, I wish I would have started sooner. And that's something that I think that I did pretty good on. As soon as I understood this platform and the medium and what was available ahead of me, is when I started to try to implement and do it myself, and try to, go all in. So I have these conversations with a lot of people, be like, oh, because I was, I used to watch Casey Neistat, and all these, like, older, well, not older, but like older channels that have just been around on the platform doing content for a lot longer. And I didn't come up with any of those guys. Like, when I just remember, it was not too long ago, just last year, that people were like, oh, because of Casey Neistat. And I was like, who is that? Because I never heard of him. It's just people who never have reached me on my YouTube personally, so it's very interesting that when I did find Peter McKinnon, and then started seeing the space for photographers on this platform, was when I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, which is what gave me the motivation to do it myself. I've also mentioned this as well, that I've done stand-up comedy. So, on stand-up comedy, they tell you the day that you have to go, and all these, like, hoops and requirements that you have to jump through and actually do for you to get 5 minutes on stage when they say so. And this platform gives you the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and post it whenever you want, which is, like, I have a Saturday night live stream, this will be primetime television. Like, to say, like when do you get to showcase and be on stage on a Saturday night, as far as stand-up comedy goes, and doing, that type of lifestyle, you have to earn your way to a Saturday night gig, doing a lot of those Wednesday night open mic nights. So knowing that this platform gives you the ability to, like, bypass all of that stuff and just go live and build your audience, on the fly. Once I understood the potential of this platform, I was completely hooked, and I was like, I'm so down to be doing this, and even though I did start doing it for fun, it quickly, thanks to Nick Nimmin and the Nimminati, quickly just allows you to understand the potential of community and growth that's on this platform. So always just amazed and appreciative, because it could be so much worse, right? That's why I said no matter how tough things can get, this is always the bright spot of my week. So cheers to you. Okay, it looks like Caleb had to go. Okay, so Richard saying good night, everyone. Thank you for the awesome stream. See you soon. Thank you, sir, for stopping by. Those little things add so much. Thank you. It says question, Stream Deck question. What is the difference between the 15 key and the 15 key Mark II models? Okay, that's cool. Well, I'm going to bring this up so you can see the back of it. Okay, the back of it, as you can see, that's what I was saying. That's the USB C connection right there. So I can literally disconnect it from there. That is the first thing to note when it comes to this, because the other Stream Deck had a cable that was attached to it hardline, which, yeah, the convenience is I can take it off this one and use it on a different computer easily. But the biggest convenience of having it detached is, let's say you had a dog and he chewed your cable, and you had the Stream Deck Mark 1. If you had the Mark 1 and you chewed your cable, you have to buy a new Stream Deck, right? And it's a total difference from having to buy $150 unit because your dog chewed it, comparative to replacing a maybe $10 USB-C cable. So that's one thing right there, that anyone who had any issues with damaged cords, you no longer have to buy another Stream Deck. You can just replace the cord. Second is the faceplate. So as you can see, I was fortunate enough to get this one with this purple faceplate, but the original one is black. I'm gonna just disconnect it. So as you can see, it is now disconnected, right? And yeah, okay. I haven't done it since I put it on there, but this one has the ability to have detachable faceplates. So this is the Stream Deck. The original would have had just the black case. The original black cover that it comes with is in the original box, and I'm using this purple one to match maybe my aesthetics. So that's the biggest thing, is more customizable. But besides that, I think that's like the only real big difference, because everything else that has been upgraded has to do with the software, and the software will be implemented on both this Stream Deck and the Mark 1, just the same. And look at that, plug it back in and we're back in business. Boom. That's why, once again, absolutely love this thing. Okay, so Caleb's saying have a good night. I think Angela's heading out as well. She's saying good night to everyone. Yep. Saturday Night Live. Ooh, right? Like, there was a show named that. Talking about Saturday Night Live, man. I used to watch Saturday Night Live all the time, and that probably goes into why I wanted to do the stand-up comedy and put that as like one of my bucket list items. I used to watch it from mostly, like, in my age bracket. I really fell in love with the Adam Sandler crew, the Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, that gang. David Spade, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman. Such an amazing cast at that time. Like, I take nothing away from the Chevy Chases and Jim Belushis and all the people from back in the day. I even love Eddie Murphy when he did his time back in those days with, I believe Aykroyd was on Saturday Night Live at those times as well. So just great, great, great comedy, man. I'm laughing now because I'm remembering so many jokes from back in the day. But the ones that I kind of that was what was on when I was watching Saturday Night Live was that group of that cast: Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley, Rob Schneider. So many awesome people. That was Chris Rock. So many great comedians back then. Just that's still something that it's something that I hold very close to my heart, which is comedy. I could almost start maybe like a comedy critique podcast, but that's neither here nor there. It's just because I followed comedy from the Richard Pryors, from back in the day, and not that I lived it. It was just I went backwards when it came to the history of comedy, and loving all that aspect. The origins, the Reds. Oh, please, and to tell you the truth, like one of the things that got me that I didn't think that was gonna get me so much was Robin Williams, because he was one person that I always said that like I didn't know how or when, right? But it was just something that I always had in my heart that I was like, I'm gonna eventually meet this man and shake his hand for like all the amazing performances that he's put on and the inspiration to so many. And his passing was something that affected me more than I even knew that it was gonna affect me. And once it did, I was just very taken back, but I still don't like change the sentiment. Like it just really showed you that even though he was someone that I didn't get to meet, someone who still was impactful in my life. I remember watching the original first show when I was in college. The first shows I went back to watch them, and I'll tell you the truth, they were not the easiest to digest. And that was like, who was oh my god, George Carlin. George Carlin was, I believe, the host of those episodes back in the day, the first episodes, which he's another George Carlin. Come on, awesome. Love his stuff. I could watch it. And then let's talk about comedy for a little bit, right? Because everything's on the table here. There's certain things about certain comedians that is just, they make timeless comedy, and that's when you know that those are the greats. Because I can put on a Richard Pryor special from the 60s, 70s, and still that man can make me cry in laughter today, when you know that a joke is timeless, where it just transcends. And that's where this thing, like there's a lot of political comedians and things like that, but all of that comedy is dated. Anyone who ever made fun of George Washington as a comedian, like even Will Ferrell had to retire that character as soon as the president was no longer the president, right? So it really goes to show that the greats are the ones that just are able to transcend the barriers of time, and the comedy is great no matter when you see it. Robin Williams is one of them. Says George Carlin wasn't the first host. Okay. Then I might have not even gotten to see those original ones. The original ones that I seen, I believe, was with Carlin. But that's my own experience. Well, I don't know if you guys have any other questions. If you do, put them in the chat. I'm gonna actually do this. This is the first time I do this. Boom. Yeah, I think I answered all the questions. This is great. Like it's funny, like I know how to use all of these things on Ecamm, but then I actively don't always use them. just haven't had the need. So that's cool. But everyone, I think this is where we're going to call it. I thank all of you for being here, hanging out with me. It does mean the world. But for those of you it's your first time, thank you. And let you know, like everyone else knows, that this is going to happen all over again next week. At the same place, same time, same channel. So you're going to find me here with a group of amazing camera junkies. So if you want to be part of it, make sure that you catch us live here at 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday. Next week will be week 53, and we're going to be celebrating Aiden's birthday, and we're going to be doing quite a few fun things. I'm going to be working on some more content. I was proud that I had gotten like a week ahead of schedule. Right now I'm just on schedule. I'm not ahead because of this past week and the holiday and everything like that. But I'm also taking into account that I'm going to be editing content for other creators as well. Like I have a video that I'm working for Doc Rock. So that content being put out is still something that I'm going to be, like that is still something that I take as a accomplishment or a win in my goal, because that's still another piece of content that I'm able to create, even though it's not directly on my channel. And for those of you who are going to be participating in Vlogmas and everything, I'm working it out, because I'm not sure if it's the live streaming, but I have this crazy idea of trying to create as much content as I possibly can for Amazon. So, if the content has purpose, then that's where, the challenge falls, right? When you're challenging yourself. So I'm going to be challenging myself to create as much content as I can to put into Amazon, so that I can kind of build the reputation and the views on my personal status for it, so that I can try to see about getting into the live aspect, because it's all a work in progress. So working on that as well, amongst a bunch of other things. But that's it for this week. I am gonna have another little Marshall Ecamm outro, and that's where I'm gonna call it. So I'm gonna leave it with that. Guys, take care of yourselves and each other, right? I will see you next week. All right, and have a great week. Take care of yourselves, and and I think that's it. I keep forgetting. I think I'm forgetting something, right? Like, why? Like, did I say everything that I wanted to say? Oh no, I didn't. You see, I knew there was still something lingering, guys. Cyber Monday. This is all the weekend. It was part of the title. If you haven't, and you were thinking about holding off, and you haven't gotten an Upgrade Your Skills shirt, right now until Monday, anyone who gets a Upgrade Your Skills shirt from the CAMERAJunkie merch shop, you're going to be getting a free Upgrade Your Skills 16-ounce pint mug, which is this bad boy right here. So if you haven't gotten it so far and you've been waiting for it, make sure that you pick it up. You have till Monday to do so. And if you know anyone, please spread the word. My Cyber Monday deal is you buy any shirt of the 3 that I have there, and that you'll get the mug as my gift to you as well. So that's me trying to do as much as I can for all of you who do so much for me. So thank you. And you see, that's the one thing that I was like, there was something lingering, like that splinter in my mind, and I would have just beat myself up, like if I would have just finished this live stream, and then right before bed would have hit me like, oh, the shirts, the mugs. I forgot the mugs. But no, good job. I remembered. I also got to put that there, and probably do a message tomorrow, a community post. So yeah, if you haven't grabbed one yet and you were thinking about doing so, maybe you were thinking about getting the mug and you weren't sure, now any shirt that you get, you're going to be getting a free mug. So once again, my gift to you. And with that, that's how I'm going to leave it. Thank you as always for spending your time here with me. It is your most precious commodity. Have a great week, and I will see you next time. See you next week, guys.
All right, how you guys doing?
Wait, how'd you get your video like that? Is that 4K or something?
Right, you got us over here looking like a hot mess.
No, it's actually a powerful live streaming app for Mac called Ecamm Live. You know what? Let me show it to you real quick. So you're able to use your mirrorless camera as a virtual webcam, and you can tweak the colors right in Ecamm Live using their camera effects, and then bring this video right into Zoom, Google Meet, and pretty much any other virtual meeting app. You can even stream directly to Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn and bring in comments right onto the video. And you can customize the look, size, and position of the comments right in the app. Or you can even add your logo to the corner of your video, or yourself, or both. There are plenty of picture-in-picture styles to choose from if you're sharing your screen for a tutorial or doing a presentation. And it doesn't have to be live. You can use it to record a course and eliminate the need to have to edit it later, all in 4K quality. And if you got a green screen, you can set it up right in Ecamm Live, and you can bring that into your different meetings. If you're feeling fancy, you can move yourself into the corner of your frame to do a commentary or a reaction video. You can even add in video clips just by dragging and dropping it in. Pretty much everything's drag and drop. Y'all follow me? Okay, good. So if you want to step it up a notch, you can add some overlays to your video, whether it's a simple graphic or you want to have some titles or other info at the bottom of your screen. You can even add animated overlays like this one or this one. And with Ecamm Live's interview mode, you have full control over the look and feel of your broadcast. And you can add branded overlays to frame you and your guests and look like a real legit broadcast. And you can save each layout as a scene and switch between them with the press of a button. You know, these days between virtual meetings, school, live streams, we on video all the time. So you just want to show up in a way where you can be confident and proud of. And for me, Ecamm Live is at the center of it all. Did y'all get all that?
You were on mute.